Hi, Ben Carpenter here. I'm going to talk to you about juice diets. Now, this is like the fourth time I've tried recording this video because uncharacteristically for me, every time I've done it, it's kind of turned into a rant and I've sidetracked a bit. So if this is a little bit less objective than usual, I apologise, but I hope that it's still informative and helpful. So, I get a lot of people who ask me about juice diets. It makes sense to make a video because then people have got something to refer to or look back to, etc. I'm going to tell you why, for me, a juice diet makes very little sense. I'm going to try and make sure my thoughts are collected here rather than me ranting on again. So, number one. Juice diets make very little sense for me because they're selling the fastest weight loss in the shortest period of time. Now, in terms of fat loss, when has rapid ever been the best approach? So, typically speaking, the faster someone loses weight, the more lean muscle tissue they're going to lose in that time. So for me, I would prefer to hold on to as much lean body mass as possible and lose as much fat as possible as a percentage of total weight loss. I do not want to try and lose as much weight in as little time as possible. If I spent a week not eating, I would lose weight, but it isn't purely fat. Otherwise, 7 pounds of weight loss in 7 days would be amazing, and I would do a juice diet every time I needed a photo shoot. So, firstly, off the bat, when people imagine 7 pounds of weight loss in a week, a lot of people tend to imagine 7 pounds of fat loss, but this isn't the case. It will be some fat, some body water, some lean body mass, in a lot of instances quite a lot of fecal matter, i.e. people that go on juice diets and find themselves sitting on the toilet for 4 hours a day. It's common, honestly. So it isn't 7 pounds of fat loss. Let's make that clear. So to me, for most people, when they diet, they want to hold on to muscle tissue but maximise fat gain, not try and maximise weight loss indiscriminately, irrespective of where on the body that comes from. So rapid weight loss isn't best for rapid fat loss if you're trying to hold on to muscle tissue. Number two, the way that people promote how juice diets work. For example, I googled and looked at a few juice diets to try and get some overall trends going. You will see words like cleanse, detox, purify, etc., etc. And in terms of physiology, these words have very little kind of medical meaning. So if a personal trainer is selling you a diet plan like this, ask them what they mean by purifying. And usually you'll get a very wishy-washy answer about how you're trying to purify the body. But if you say purify from what? What exactly, specifically, am I detoxifying by going on a juice diet? And honestly, 9 times out of 10, the answers that you get back, if not 10 times out of 10 in most cases, the answers you'll get back will have no meaning whatsoever. You'll tend to get a sales pitch, but you're not going to get a scientific answer from what you're trying to detoxify from the body. So these diets work not through cleansing and purifying and toning and detoxifying and all these magical verbs. These diets work because of caloric restriction. If you want to lose a lot of weight in a short period of time, you eat at a caloric deficit, i.e. you eat very little over the course of 7 days, and yes, of course you will lose weight. So here's a crazy idea. Rather than drinking juice, why not eat something? Trust me when I say that most people's issue with dieting is adherence. People who cannot adhere to the diet for a long enough period of time. Dietary adherence is very well known as a critical factor for dietary success. So if you're going to have a week and you're only drinking juice, is that fun? No. Most people find their hunger is through the roof, and after the 7 days they go back to eating what they did before and all the weight comes back on. So for me, if I was going on a really restrictive diet, let's say 500 calories a day, like a stupidly restrictive diet, there is no way that I would drink my calories. I would pick something that would have the most effect on appetite as possible, so I could at least try and get throughout the day without trying to chew my own arm off. So for example, potatoes. We know that potatoes, or boiled potatoes, rate high on the satiety index. I'll link that video now. So boiled potatoes, if you had a low calorie portion of potatoes, it's going to fill you up more so than most equivalent foods. So for me, if I've only got 500 calories a day and an allotted portion of that is supposed to go towards carbohydrates, I would tend to pick something like potatoes, which is more likely to fill me up. The idea that someone is drinking their calories when they're eating that little, to me, seems absolutely absurd. I would try and have the biggest effect on appetite regulation as possible. Next, if you are only on 500 calories a day, do not neglect protein. Protein is vital for lean body mass preservation. So if we use the 500 calorie per day example, and some of these juice diets are really that low, why would you not pick protein? Protein is vital for lean body mass preservation, and I understand what people are trying to do with fruits and vegetables in that they're trying to eat only healthy foods, etc. But holding on to lean body mass is vital when you're dieting. It's so common for people to lose lean body mass, and we know that higher protein intakes are important for holding on to lean body mass. So neglecting protein when you're dieting makes so little sense for me, unless someone specifically wants to lose muscle. So if someone's like, I want to be skinny, not just lean, but tiny arms, tiny legs, like arms like the center of a toilet roll, that type of thing. If someone wants to lose body mass, that's fine, but that's not necessarily a healthy way to do it. So, may have gone on a little bit of a rant. Apologies about that. So here are my kind of cliff notes from the video. If you're going on a restrictive diet, which these juice diets tend to be, imagine that someone's only eating 500 calories a day. Of course you are going to lose a lot of weight. Are you going to keep it off if you revert back to your standard diet? Absolutely not. Is that weight loss going to be comprised entirely of fat? No, it is not. Is there something magical about juice diets that promote weight loss above and beyond the caloric deficit? No. Caloric deficit is what's vital. So pick any food you want. Pick a food that you enjoy. If you're only going to be eating that for a week, you may as well pick something that you enjoy. And if you eat little enough of it, you will lose fat. This has been documented from doctors who have done things like the Twinkie diet, for example, people that have followed junk food diets but in a caloric deficit. The point is the caloric deficit is vital. What food you eat within that is, to a point, it's relatively interchangeable. So for me, if I was going to starve myself for a week, I would not pick just a drink. I'd pick something that I could actually try and eat to try and preserve my own sanity. Secondly, I make sure that there's protein in that. And thirdly, I'll pick something that I enjoy. So people that are going on juice diets and cabbage soup diets, etc., etc., pick something that you're at least going to like. Because let's face it, at the end of the 7 days, you're going to be dying to eat. That's when people tend to have massive weight gain rebound, because they eat all the things that they've been craving over the past week. So you lose 7 pounds in 7 days, and then by day 14 you're back to exactly the weight you were before, in a lot of cases sometimes even more so. So to me, it is not a sensible long-term strategy. It isn't even really a sensible short-term strategy for most people. So I hope you found the video useful. I may get some hate mail from people selling juice diets. I'm fine with that. I didn't name any juice diet in particular. So please feel free to ask questions, comments, etc. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Ben Carpenter Personal Training. My Twitter page and now Instagram page is BDC Carpenter. And thank you for watching. Bye.